Everything you desire is waiting for you to claim it. There's no creating involved, only invention through imagination and building through action. You are at the center of all your desires, dreams, and achievements. Welcome to Designing Your Life Today, the podcast that's all about your success, achieving your goals, building wealth through your business, and building your most passionate, powerful, magnificent life. Discover ways to use your purpose to connect you to serving others and living your dreams. I am Pat Council, and I know you are built by design to win. And it all begins with knowing how to tap into your success energy. Let's get on the path of discovery, decisive action, development, and unwavering dedication to your life's calling. It's time to embark on a transformative journey where your deepest passions become your most rewarding achievements. Embrace your power to shape your destiny, because this is your moment to do life with power. Hello, Power Up Nation. I'm Pat Council. And on Designing Your Life Today, we're going to talk about why business growth seems difficult. So the business world seems to be, it's becoming more and more competitive because there are a lot of people that are going into business and perhaps grabbing a small portion of the market that you once dominated. And does that mean that you need to get out of business? Does that mean that you need to spend more money on advertising? What does it really mean? Well, let's talk a little bit about that. There are different things that you can do, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about one specific action that you can take that will guarantee that you stay in business. It will guarantee that you will continue to grow your business. And unfortunately, for a lot of businesses, this is the one thing that a lot of them fail to do, and they fail to do it effectively. And it's not always about the size of the business. But before I get to that, I want you to understand that there are certain things that you must do before you can even get to what I'm about to share with you. First of all, in order to have a successful business, everything has to start with the right foundation. And you say, well, when I started my business, I didn't exactly know what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to get out there and do something. I wanted to make something happen. I was excited, and so I just got started, and I made a few bucks, so I got even more excited. But that's neither here nor there. It happened, and that's okay. You don't always have to know the right thing, the right system to follow. Is it smart to do your homework first? Absolutely. But if you're like me and you kind of jumped into a business thinking that it was going to be easy, and thinking that, wow, you know what, I think I can be really good at this and I'm going to make some money. If you were like me, and then you got into it and realized, oh, this is not exactly what I thought. So what am I talking about? Of course, I'm talking about my real estate business when I first got into real estate. And I thought it was, I didn't realize it was strictly commission. I thought it was a kind of an employee position, paycheck to paycheck, or getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. I just left the military. So this is what I thought that real estate was going to be about. I didn't know that it was strictly commission. I didn't know I had to generate my own clientele. I didn't know any of those things. But then once I got my license and I got into the real estate game, that's when the broker who had suggested to me that I get my license because I expressed an interest, that's when that broker kind of pulled back the curtain so I could see how things really operated. Well, that's okay, because one of the things about being human, we are resilient. And if we decide to be, we can be persistent. And of course, the thing about that is whether you started with the right foundation or not, you can always kind of take a moment to readjust. You can always take a moment to create the foundation that you want, especially if you're fairly new in business, you don't have as many clients as you'd like to have, then you don't have to make this huge shift. But even if you've been in business for a long time, you can say, Pat, you have no idea. I have so many clients. Here's the thing. There are big corporations who change their logo, change the way they market, change everything, almost everything about their business so that they can grow. So either way, it's kind of like, I guess, building a home. You have this really nice house. You've been living there for a while and you go, wow, you know what? If I had it to do over, I would have bought a house with an extra bedroom or an extra room for my office or something like that. So instead of moving from that house because you love the location, you've got tons of land, then you say to yourself, you know what? I think I'm going to add a room. So you either knock out a wall or something, and you add another room to the house, or maybe a couple rooms to make it what you want it to be. So even if you didn't start on the right foundation, you can still make your business, turn your business into the kind of business that you would like that business to be. But here's the thing, no matter where you are on your journey, clear vision is so important. So if you haven't taken the time to really understand your business, why you're doing what you're doing, what is this business all about, then take the time to get that clear vision. The second thing is, once you get a clear vision, make sure you have a solid plan that connects to that vision. Because see, with every vision has an outcome. So when we see something, in other words, we don't just see, it's like buying a car, or if you were going to buy something new. So if I was going to buy a new car, I don't say, oh, wow, you know what? I know I want a car. And the first thing I start thinking about is, well, as long as I get a tire. I only think about the tires for the car. No, I have a complete vision of what I want that car to look like. Okay, I'm very clear what I want the car to look like, the type of car that I want, and all of the above. So when it comes to that, you want to have that clear vision. The other thing, as I said, you want to connect the plan to the vision. And then finally, yes, once you have that plan in place, a part of that plan is actually marketing. But before you even get to that, you have to know, who are you marketing to? So you want to know these are the people that I am targeting. And so it does require some thought. And in some cases, it may require some help. And of course, if you guys need help with that, you can schedule a discovery appointment with me. Just go to designingyourlifetoday.com or patcounsel.com and click on that link, and we can talk for about 10 or 15 minutes. It's absolutely free. And so to help you fill in the blanks. And so you want to do that, and you want to do that while I'm offering it. I'll say it like that. So with that being said, let's get to the one thing that if you did this differently, it would grow your business, and the growth would not seem so difficult. Your business growth, it would seem to flow. It would be more consistent, and you would be excited about waking up every day instead of being stressed out and thinking that you have to work 7 days a week. My philosophy has been, and I know I was about to say it has always been this, but it hasn't always been this way. I learned this, of course, growing up. You know, God made everything in 6 days, rested on the seventh day when he created everything. And of course, I learned that as a kid, and going to church, reading the Bible as a kid, and even as an adult, all of that. But it didn't quite register with me. Okay, I'm like, okay, this is what God did. Me, I'm a human being. I have to work 7 days. It wasn't until I really paid attention to what was written that God made me in his image. So he made man and woman in his image. So my philosophy became, you know what? If God did it in 6 and rested on the 7th, why am I trying to outdo God? Why am I trying to work 7 days a week? Why am I stressing myself out? But this is where I'm going with this. If you do this one thing that I'm about to share with you, then you won't be as stressed out. All right, full confession, or here's a little caveat. All right, you might be a little bit stressed out while you're doing it, but I can assure you on your day off, you will have lots of relaxation time. And in addition to that, you will most likely not end up having to work even 6 days a week, maybe just 5. Okay. When, again, back to real estate, I can use that as, it's such a great example. When I was running my real estate business and then I got my own real estate company, I can remember, the concept that I adopted. Okay. If God could do it, he did it in 6 and I did it in 7. Why am I trying to outdo God? So I'd take that one day off. Well, it reached a point, real estate can be really stressful, you guys. So I thought, you know what, sometimes I need more than one day off. Okay. So, um, uh, I decided that I wanted to take 2 days off, which means I didn't always want to work on Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes I'd work on Saturday, and then I didn't want to work. And then I definitely never worked on Sunday. I didn't work on Sunday or Monday. So the point that I'm getting to here is because of how I structured my business and what I did, the things that I did that allowed that business to flow so that I could take that time off. So that means you don't necessarily have to work a full 6 days. Okay, God was creating everything that we have so we could have it, so we could use it. And the thing is that we don't have to create like on that scale. So let's move on. Here's the one thing that will help you grow your business, that will make it not so difficult. And that one thing is developing very good follow-up skills. I cannot tell you the number of businesses, and not just people that I've coached or people who I've encountered. I'm talking large businesses, where corporations, where getting a return call back or follow-up call as promised is almost, it's slightly annoying. Okay. And it can be more annoying if I let it be, if I really, just got all frustrated behind it. But I thought, you know what, I'm not going to let someone else's inadequacy cause me to be frustrated like that. I'm just going to find a company that matches what I'm looking for and how I want to be treated. So the point is, your follow-up skills have to be really just impeccable. When I was in real estate, my rule was that I would return a call within 24 hours, that they would hear from me. My customer, if they called me, or my client, I would call them back. And I honored that. I always followed up. And when I put houses on the market, especially houses that didn't sell, that had been with another real estate company, one of the biggest complaints that the seller always had was, I didn't hear from my realtor. Well, I fixed that. My follow-up skills were great. So with that being said, doesn't matter what business you're in, whether you're in real estate, and of course now I do business coaching, and we've added life coaching, and a few other things to Power Up Nation. So it doesn't matter. The follow-up has to be impeccable. Now, I no longer have that 24-hour rule as I did when I was in real estate. Okay, I tell people, okay, it's going to be 24 to 48 hours. But usually I don't think I ever really get to 48 hours. I get back to people as soon as possible. As soon as I see the message or listen to a voicemail or an email, they get a response from me. And of course, all of these emails or all the information that comes in is ranked based on priority. So the point that I'm getting to is follow up. It sends a message that you're trustworthy. It also sends a message that you care about the people that you're dealing with, that you're not just thinking about your money. One of the things that I've found is that people who focus only on the money when it comes to their business, it's a very self-centered way of thinking. And as a result, they're not as good with follow-up. They're not as good with dealing with people. They're not as good at handling even some of the challenges that pop up. Because, one of the things that I want you guys to consider or remember is that whenever a problem really pops up or some kind of challenge pops up, and you're trying to figure out what to do. Now, granted, sometimes you have to do a little research. Sometimes you have to talk to someone who's more experienced in that area and who's been there, done that. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to think about it first from their perspective and then internalize it and say to yourself, you know what? If it were me, how would I want to be treated? What response am I looking for? And that will set you on the right path to finding the best solution for that customer's problem. I always treated my customers the way I wanted to be treated. All of my customers, all of my clients. And so And the reason why I am saying customers and clients is because in real estate, the client is the one that you have a contract with. The customer is the one that you're serving. Like, for example, if I'm dealing with a buyer and I don't have a contract with them. Okay, so the same thing applies here in my business at Power Up Nation. So my clients are the ones that I have a contract with. The customers are the people that are calling me for different things because, I don't know, they may have purchased a T-shirt or something from our website, designingyourlifetoday.com, and they didn't get that T-shirt or it didn't come in a timely manner. So those kind of things. So we follow up and we make sure that we take care of that. My clients are the people that I'm coaching. So let's press on. But what I want to do is I'm going to give you some of the things that you want to pay attention to when it comes to kind of following up with your customers. Now, full disclosure, and when this past year, we had such an influx of emails and people wanting to connect with Power Up Nation to the point where I was a little bit overwhelmed. So as a result, I had to put some systems in place to make sure that we respond to everybody, especially people that got on our email list. We wanted to let them know welcome and that kind of thing. And so I had to change our welcome message, and the list goes on and on. And of course, I made a change in some of my administrative help. And so as a result, there's a little lag there. So these kind of things happen. So if this has happened to you, don't beat yourself up. Just regroup and make sure you have a plan that flows. So with that being said, the first thing is when it comes to follow up, here's one of the biggest issues that people have that makes them not seem as though they are professional. They have no capture system, or no lead capture system. So when you have no lead capture system, then people think, okay, I'm going to go across the street, so to speak, to this business that does have a lead capture system. Or I'm going to go to this website because they have a lead capture system. You know, I can put my information in there and I'm going to get a response of some kind, or I'm going to be welcomed into the fold and this kind of thing. So I'm going to feel some warm fuzzies. I'm going to feel a connection. It is so important when you follow up with people that you understand what follow up is truly about. It's about, number one, letting people know, you know, I see you, and I hear you, so to speak. Okay. Cause you may not see them if it's online. But you let them know, I want to acknowledge your presence. And I'm grateful that you are coming to my business for some type of service. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you want to reassure them that, you know what, I'm going to give you the best service possible. I'm going to help you get to where it is you truly desire to be. So with that being said, it is so important for you to have a lead capture system. Now, in our show notes, I've recommended a lead capture system, and it's a company that I use. And of course, when you click on that link that I've put there, you can get to study or read all about it. And not only that, you can get 30 days to play around with it. It's absolutely free. And so I have switched from other companies that I was with that would capture my leads. And I've been with this company for more than 10 years. And I'm super excited about what they bring to the table. So you can check it out in the show notes. Just click on it. And if you decide you want to test it out for 30 days, you can do that. And so it takes care of my social media. I very rarely used it to post things on my social media page, but now we are taking things up to a whole nother level since we've had this large influx of customers or people interested in what Power Up Nation has to offer. We are living in this time where people are searching for not just their authenticity, but they're searching for that true identity that will take them where they desire to go. So you need a lead capture system that's established. The other thing is, as soon as you get a referral from someone else or somewhere, this is something that if you can, do your best not to go to 48 hours rather. So with me, and I said, you know, with the business I'm in now, it may take 24 to 48 hours. And I can tell you right now, um, it's not going to take me 48 hours. If I get a referral, okay, first of all, I respect the fact that that referral has come in. That's a lot of trust. So when someone refers someone to me, then one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to get to that person, that referral, as soon as possible. I want to acknowledge them. It says I'm grateful to the person who sent them. I can remember referring people to other business people in different businesses, various businesses, and they took their time following up. So what does that do? It makes me look like I'm not as professional. It's a reflection of me, and they're thinking, "Wow, so this is the kind of people that you're referring to." So you want to think about that when it comes to growing your business. If you get a referral, now here's the other thing I want to say about this. Well, let me finish my thought. When you get a referral, follow up as quickly as possible. But the question becomes, why don't they follow up? People don't follow up sometimes as quickly as possible because they can't believe they got a referral, number one. And number two, they actually freeze. Because our deserve level does kick in at some point, and you go, wow, I didn't actually think this was going to work this way. I didn't think I was going to get this many referrals. I didn't think I was going to have people who believe in me that much. Now, that might sound weird, but I can tell you, I've referred business to people, and I find that, and they were complaining about not making enough money. But then all of a sudden I said, okay, I'll send you some business. And then when I send them business, then they take their time about getting back to the person. So that's a reflection on them. So if your business isn't growing, you want to take a look at you and what's going on with that. Do you procrastinate? You go, okay, I'll get to them when I get to them, kind of thing. No, it doesn't work that way if you want your business to grow. So you have to keep in mind, there's the other thing that goes with that is when it comes to growing your business. Okay, so you're following all of what I call the technical rules. All right. Making sure you follow up within 24 hours, 48 depends on what type of business you're in. Making sure you do that. Making sure you have a plan and you've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's. But at the end of the day, everything moves forward based on the kind of energy that the creator of that business, the owner, put forth. If the owner is lackadaisical, then the growth is going to be lackadaisical. So think about that. So when people take their time responding to a referral, there's something going on with them. So you have to take a look at your energy. What do you think about yourself? What do you think about this business? And why are you so afraid to receive the kind of monies that you said that you wanted to have? Why are you so afraid to do that? So think about that. The other thing that you want to have in place, sometimes a referral will fall through the cracks. I mean, I get a lot of emails each day, and so I don't always see all of those emails. Now, I see the people that I coach, I see their emails pretty quickly. Okay, so they're kind of marked. And so I see those, but I don't see all of those emails that I get. And I've had this happen to me and I go, oh man, this person emailed me 3 days ago. And so I get right back to them as soon as I can. But here's the thing. If this was an opportunity for you, then you have to have something in place to prevent or rescue that opportunity from going away, to put it back in place, to put it back on track. And so in that case, let's say if it comes through an email, and I'll just give you one example, there's several different things that you can do. But if you get an email, and as I said, once I got an email, actually it's happened more than once, to be honest. And so once I got an email, and the email, I was like, oh man, this email came in 3 days ago. And I did not see it because as I said, I get a lot of emails, and I usually go through my emails every single day. I don't go through my emails on Saturday and Sunday. However, I do make up for it on Monday. And so when I go through, because I missed this email, there's an opportunity in that email for me. And I thought, oh my goodness, they may think that, I'm this lackadaisical when it comes to how I run my business, how I respond to clients. And so one of the things that I had to put in place was, how do I prevent that from happening? And when it does, what is my comeback for that? Well, I emailed the person. I didn't hear from them. And I guess they assumed that, hey, she doesn't care. Neither do I. Well, I didn't let it stop there. There's nothing like good old fashioned live communication. And so I found that person's phone number and I called that person. Okay. So, and it was my good fortune that this just happened to be another business person. So of course it was easy to find them. And I found that person and I called that person. I got that person on the phone. And the first thing I did, I was very honest and I apologized. And I also explained to them, though, that I was putting systems in place to make sure that that didn't happen again. They were impressed by that. And of course, I did get the opportunity. So there are just different things that you can do to prevent this from happening to you. Now that we have good old AI, there are different AI programs that you can use to make sure that people get an appropriate response, but also to make sure that you are alerted to the fact that, hey, this person is trying to do business with you, or hey, this person just made a purchase from you. And so this is the kind of thing that you want to pay attention to. So when it comes to growing your business, in a nutshell, your follow-up skills and your follow-up systems, those two things, if you have those two things in order, I can promise you that your business will grow. Okay. Assuming that you are marketing to the right people and doing it with consistency. Okay. Don't expect somebody to remember you just because you put one piece of information out there. So think about that, you guys, and look at your business. Be honest about your work ethic. Be honest about what you're doing and ask yourself, what can I do better? How can I make this better? Remember, this is 2026, the year to get in the mix. And for me, getting in the mix when it comes to my business means I'm looking at all of my systems. Again, as I said, we got this large influx of people coming in and wanting information and wanting to connect with Power Up Nation, sending us their email address, getting on my email list and that kind of thing, which, by the way, if you want to get on my email list, you can simply text the word join and your email, include your email to the number 904-787-6055. That's text the word join from your phone and add your email address and send it to 904-787-6055. So that's one of the systems that we have, let's say, upgraded and put in place. I had a system like that before, but the company that it was with, they changed how that system works. So I had to find another system, and it's with the exact same lead capture system that I have now. And so the thing is that you want to have those kinds of things in place, but you can text that word join in your email and send it to 904-787-6055 if you want to get on my email list, because we are upgrading, improving everything. And so this is the kind of thing that you want to make sure that you pay attention to. And so be sure to check the show notes, because I've added the lead capture system that I use, and you get, as I said, 30 days to play around. It will deliver things to your social media. So it makes my life a lot easier. And one of the things I love about this company is that I can talk to a live person. Okay. And by the way, in this day and time, when it comes to business growth, I know people love AI, and we're going to wrap up on this. I know they love AI, and AI, it makes our lives easier, let's say, on one hand, and on the other hand, it disconnects us from the people we want to be connected to. And so I want to encourage you not to disconnect from the people that you want to be connected to. Make sure that they're hearing from you, and that you're reachable. Okay. And make sure that if they need you live, or they need someone in your company to talk to someone live, see if you can make that happen. The companies that are making it so that people can talk to them live, they love it. They're making more money. They're thriving. Statistics show that. You can do your own homework on that. And on my end, a lot of the people that I talk to, even in our discovery appointments, when I'm talking to them, and I share, okay, here's a company. I usually recommend companies where they can talk to a live person. And so and they go, the first thing out of their mouth is, oh, good, because I need to talk to somebody live. It takes me more time with AI. Because if you don't ask the questions the way those questions have been entered, a lot of times it's not so easy to get an answer. It comes back and it tells you, try again, I don't understand what you're saying, and these kinds of things. So we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now today. But this is one of the ways that you can grow your business and make sure, as I said, that you follow up. So if you have a great lead capture system, which is also provides a great response to the people that are connecting with you. If you have all of these things, you start putting these things in place, you're going to see things very change for your business. It's going to grow. And this is the beauty of it. It doesn't take 6 months to a year for this to happen. This is something that can start to happen immediately. Okay, so in the meantime, I want you guys to have a magnificent day. Enjoy this Thriving Thursday and do life with power, knowing that you're built by design to win.